Alright, so today I'm not feeling super well. My throat's a little bit sore. I feel a little bit achy and just not well. So I had to cut out of work early today and get some rest. And now I'm up, awake. I don't think I'm getting any more sleep, so I figured I'd do some career mode now that we're back to it and see what we can get ourselves as far as credits and ratings. Before this stream, a little earlier tonight, I did obtain my turboprop rating, and I did the 10 private charters with a B rating or better that are required to get the VIP charter services. So I figured for this stream, we can open up the VIP charter that unlocks the rest of them, and we'll see what it's about. Excuse me. So, looks like this is in Europe. I can't remember the names of the airports that we're taking off from, but we're somewhere in Europe, and it says that this flight is about 3 hours and 30 minutes. I don't know how accurate that is, but you know, at least if it is that long, I do have the time to run it, so we're gonna run that. One thing that I noticed is it does appear that we may have the first arrival that we have shot in career mode, so the first star, which is going to be really interesting. It's going to be fun to see. I forgot what aircraft this was, so we'll have to double check that once we get into the actual mission itself, but we'll run our normal steps. We'll go to the EFB first, and it looks like we have a takeoff that's going to be a departure on a left downwind, and then we're going out to the east, and then it looks like Nisar is going to be the beginning of our arrival, and then the arrival looks like it should take us to the approach. So we'll go to our route page and see what approach that is. It looks like the ILS 4 right Zulu. Takeoff is just your standard VFR pattern, and the arrival procedure, if I could speak, is the NISA 7 Tango. I'm not super familiar with European procedures as I do training in the US, but they're not really much different as far as I understand. So we're going to use VNAV to our advantage here. Again, I can't afford Navigraph quite yet, so we're just going to go with what's in the game, and perhaps we can pull some Lido charts in our EFB in flight as far as I know what's available to us. Looks like our cruise altitude is going to be 29,000 feet, flight level 290, which makes sense for the direction of flight, odd thousands. So the flight plan's complete. We have our arrival, we have our approach. We'll go ahead and file the plan with ATC, and we'll send the route to the avionics. Cool. Accept the mission. Now, the thing that I've been having to do on these private charters is cancel the IFR a little bit before I've top of descent, because I find that the in-game ATC does not descend you on time, ever. There's only one occasion out of the 10 private charters that I've ran on this career mode where I actually got descended at a normal time, so I've had to cancel the IFR, and it's kind of nice. That's a bit of a bug workaround that I found, was cancel the IFR before top of descent and just go down VFR. The game does not punish you for going in the clouds VFR, which due to the in-game ATC being broken, I think is a very good thing that it doesn't get you for that. Alright, so looks like we are in the Pilatus PC-12. That's going to be a lot of fun. Private charter goal, passenger satisfaction, airline procedure, and aircraft integrity. So yeah, so respect the condition of the aircraft. So the criteria are the same as that of a private charter, but clearly the person that we're flying is a lot more rich because they're able to afford a flight on a Pilatus. So we got the objective, operator, Radiant Airways. That's kind of a nice name. Transport passengers to destination. So it looks like we might have multiple passengers. And we did the flight plan. EFB looks good. Let's go ahead and fly. Now, one thing is when I've been doing my private charters, I've been using SkyVector to my advantage because since I can't afford Navigraph and I'm not familiar with Lido charts, SkyVector does give you the FAA charts for the US, which I am very familiar with. That's all I did my training on. But now we're in Europe, so this should be really fun to do. But as far as I'm concerned, I believe the avionics should have the arrival loaded up with all of the altitude and speed restrictions, so yeah. And we started up right next to the aircraft. That's interesting. Oh, it looks like our passengers are already in. That's different. Okay, we'll remove those covers. I'm going to pull up the ATC window again as per usual, because I find that the most realistic you do it seems to be the least buggy. I think part of what may be tripping up or initiating some of the bugs, if you will, is when you do some of the auto responses that it gives you in the mission steps to, respond to ATC and everything like that. Sometimes I feel like the auto responses and stuff just doesn't really work totally correctly, and it might screw up some of the progression within the game. Now, excuse me while I blow my nose real quick. Alright, yeah. Whatever got me this time is not fun at all. Just gonna get myself repositioned in my chair, and alright. Okay, cool. So, oh, gotcha. So we do have a co-pilot here now. That's a little bit new. That's kind of interesting. So before we request the passengers, I'm just gonna take a peek in here. I have not flown a Pilatus PC-12 yet, not even in the last sim. I couldn't afford it, so I didn't. And just kind of looking around at what the buttons are. We got bleed air, auto, everything over here is on auto, so we shouldn't really have to do much with that. Manual control, as far as pressurization is concerned, that's about all we should need. I'm just going to look at what's down here. We got the FM, or the PFDs, MFDs, so this is some of your lighting control down here. And we do have panel lights and floodlights, so we'll go ahead and turn that on so they're ready to go. This is the cabin flood, okay. Oh, you know what? Oh, there's two wheels. Okay, so these are the floodlights. We'll keep those down. The panel lights can come up. Cabin floodlights we don't really need. Cockpit dome we'll keep on like 1 up. So what do we got here? We got the alternate stab trim, which we don't really need. That's fine. Prop low airspeed. Very interesting. We have 3 notches of flaps. Cool. And just curious where the starters are. So we got boosts. Or no, I'm sorry. Those are boots. Got prop ice protection, and you got the inertial separator, which we'll need on takeoff. And then we'll look to the side here. You just have all the circuit breakers. You do have oxygen available to you. And then all of the engine controls as far as starting the plane and getting everything ready appear to be up here. So I like what I'm seeing. Just going to verify. Okay, these are the generators. So that's the battery. We got 2 batteries. We got all of our lights right here. We'll go ahead and throw the seatbelt signs and no smoking signs on. The ignition is on auto. This is the starter. Just gonna... so we do have fuel pumps. We will have those on. These are all just system tests. Okay. Alright, so the Pilatus PC-12 is relatively simple, and I think we are ready to go. Alright, let's go ahead and request the boarding.
Waiting for your instructions to start boarding. Ground service, this is Flight Raw 75-9 Parking 2. Clear to start passenger boarding.
Ooh, that's a little bit buggy, the opening of those doors.
Any chance we could speed up the flight, Captain? Got an important
Ooh,
thing
he
in
wants to
nice
get there
waiting for me.
quick. That's never
Thanks.
good.
Appreciate it.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get the batteries on. Verify that we have electrical power. We do. We'll get the avionics on. We don't need any of the standby bus. That's fine. Generators will come on. Generator 2 is on. That's good. Fuel pumps can come on. Ignition is on auto. And then it doesn't look like we have a condition lever control, so that's good. One less thing to worry about. So let's go ahead and hit the starter. Oh, maybe we have to hold it. Oh, am I doing something wrong here? Oh, let's flip this to ignition. This should be on run, I bet. Yep, okay, so this button right here should be on run. I don't fly turboprops in real life, but I do always try and, you know, keep engine starts and everything like that as realistic as possible. So I learn as I go. Alright, so the oil pressure is coming up, ITT is coming up, everything is getting towards the green. We'll just go ahead and watch our RPMs, make sure that nothing gets up in the red. So it doesn't appear that our flight plan is in the avionics as far as I can see. So let's go to a init. We have the position. Databases, we're good there. Okay, that's fine. Can't seem to go back to the flight plan page. That's a little concerning. We'll try it up here. Flight plan. Huh. Alright, maybe I'll have to find the keybinds for the EFB real quick. Excuse me. Alright. Toggle EFB. Oh, we got the tab button. Okay. So let's go ahead and try and pull that up. We'll go to resume. We'll hit the tab button. There we go. We got our EFB right here, and we're gonna. Okay. All right. So our flight plan loaded. We'll refile it just to verify.
And say hello before you leave for nice
Then we'll send it to avionics.
He's part of a celebrity.
Okay. Now we have stuff popping up. Cool.
Her for an event. Well, it's about time. Provide him with the finest service. I know I can count on you. Have a great flight.
Okay, so probes are coming on. We're going to open the inertial separator. All of our bleeds are all in manual. I'm going to double check the... Make sure that we don't need the standby bus on. Oh, we do need the standby bus on. Okay. My fault. so here's an interesting bug right here, is the yoke is hidden except for the autopilot disconnect and the, I believe that's the pitch trim. I don't actually know what that is, but that's a little bit of a bug right there. Oxygen, we'll flip to on, because I believe you need that on. Put our flaps to 15 for takeoff, and disengage the parking brake. Okay. Alright, our cruise altitude we determined was flight level 290. So we'll just climb straight there. Heading, we'll push to sync, verify that that works, because I know that some of these planes don't. It does. Airspeed's going to be FMS, so we'll go ahead and leave that there for now since I'm not totally familiar with the aircraft. And then we'll turn on the flight director. Okay, and we do have flight direction, cool, but the autopilot is not set yet. Alright, let's go ahead to ground and announce our taxi.
Ground Pilatus Foxtrot. Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha ready to copy IFR clearance to Nice. Pilatus Foxtrot. Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha is cleared to Nice Airport. As filed, expect runway 25 maintain flight. Level 290. Departure frequency is 125.6 squawk 1666. Cleared to
Read back
Nice.
to clearance.
As
So this
filed,
is a
runway
towered
25,
airfield.
Maintain flight level 290. Departure frequency is 125.6 squawk 1666 Pilatus Foxtrot. Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha.
Pilatus. It's actually Pilatus, but
Pilatus
this
Victor
game is
Hotel Alpha readback
interesting.
is correct. Contact ground on 121.775 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Good day. Alright, so we're going to request our taxi.
Ground Pilatus Foxtrot. Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha ready to taxi IFR.
I don't know why this announce taxi prompt is coming up in the mission steps. That
Pilatus
shouldn't
Foxtrot.
exist.
Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha taxi to and hold short of runway 25 using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.325 when ready.
Alright.
Taxiing hold short runway 25 via taxiway Alpha Pilatus Victor Hotel Alpha.
So a little fun thing about turboprops is they have plenty of power, so you can have the engine on idle and this thing will want to get rolling. So we'll be very careful on our speed. We're going to have to use the brakes a lot, which I don't like, but hopefully that doesn't dock us too much on aircraft condition. I don't know where exactly to find the ground speed of the aircraft right now. So that seems like a bug that I can't go back to the flight plan page on the MFD over here, but that's fine by me. Why are we taxiing on like a sidewalk? This is unethical in my opinion. I feel like this is an access road that you would only see cars drive on, but we'll just roll with it. Yeah, this thing taxis incredibly fast. What? Enter the runway. Okay. Oh no. Alright, so that's definitely buggy right there. Is that taxi path. It gave us alpha, but it seems like we were parked on the other side. So now I'm kind of curious if there is another means to taxi. Doesn't seem like there is. Wow, that's incredibly unfortunate. Well, I'm not going to be surprised if I get docked too much on some of these different requirements because I am learning how to fly this aircraft for the first time. I do want to see where I can get my ground speed though, if that's even possible. And there's no low idle, huh? Does not appear so. Oh, brother. going off the taxiway. Probably wouldn't have hurt to watch a tutorial video. See, but that's the thing though, is taxiing taxi to and hold short of runway 25 using taxiway alpha. And it doesn't tell us to hold short of any runway or cross any runway, so the in-game ATC didn't actually know where it was we were. So that's really interesting. Oh, so now it's just expecting us to take off because we supposedly entered the runway. So one thing I definitely forgot to do is beacon on, strobe on, nav on. So now we can throw our landing lights on. We'll throw the pulse light on to avoid bird strikes. And it seems like now we have an unprecedented clearance to take off. Okay. Alright, so we'll very nicely enter the runway. Make a U-turn and align with runway 25. What? Okay. Okay, so this game doesn't actually know where we are. A little bit of right aileron for crosswind correction.
V1, rotate.
We have a positive rate out of usable runway, gears coming up. Alright, so we'll go ahead and heading sync. Putting on heading mode for now.
Pilatus Victor Hotel Alpha contact Bordeaux Center
Flight level
on
change.
125.6.
And we'll throw on the autopilot. Ooh, that was an aggressive drop.
125.6 Pilatus Victor.
So we gotta slowly release back pressure to get this autopilot to maintain the proper climb speed. So I'll definitely have to adjust the trim. So the autopilot is really slow to get to where you set it to. Alright, we'll pull back the power a little bit. We're exceeding the ITT.
1,600 feet, climbing flight level 290.
Okay.
Pilatus Foxtrot, Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha Bordeaux, center QNH 1020 continuous planned.
Okay, so we directed to Lima Mike Bravo. And now the aircraft is turning towards that. Okay. We'll figure this plane out. So we have flight level change mode. This is really interesting. Alright, so now my question is how we're finding the air temperature. Okay, standing air temperature is positive 1 degree Celsius. So let's go ahead and put on, okay, windshield anti-ice is on, so let's go prop. Oh, okay, scroll wheel is backwards on this, that's interesting. So we'll do boots for 3 minutes because it looks like we're going through a thick layer of clouds and we want to get all that ice off. Oh, you know what? I just realized now I never took the flaps out. Oh boy. Guess it's a lot going on at once when you're trying to figure out how to use this aircraft. But now it does appear that we're heading direct to Lima Mike Bravo, and we are on track as far as our course is concerned. Alright, so now we'll just monitor the engine gauges, monitor the flight plan. Looking around, just seeing what's in this aircraft. Okay. So it's not difficult once you find out what's in the aircraft and how to use certain things, but it definitely has a very interesting user interface, so it is definitely difficult the first time you fly it to figure out. But when you figure it out, it's not too bad. Okay, so now we're climbing, that's good. Gears up. We're out of the clouds, so I'll go ahead and throw the boots off. Alright, now I guess we just see what happens. So this is telling us we have a message, and I'm not 100% sure on how to read that. Let's see. Is there a message button on here? Okay, so this looks like transponder controls. Oh, you can do the transponder from here. That's kind of cool. Goodness, my apologies. Alright, we are past 10,000 feet. So the landing lights are coming off. It's kind of cool to have a co-pilot to remind us of certain things. Alright, now that we're climbing, I'm going to quick grab a tissue again. Easy being cheesy. And by cheesy, I mean incredibly sick. So our altimeter was set for us, 3012, that's good. Now I do have a feeling that this flight isn't going to take the 3 hours and 30 minutes that it said it was going to. I think that's way overshot. Now I just want to figure out if I can zoom. We have a weather radar. I wonder if that's usable. We'll try and find that. Okay. So where's the zoom on this bad boy?
Pilatus Victor Hotel
Getting a
Alpha
handoff.
Contact Bordeaux Center on 120 decimal tree. Good day.
120 decimal tree Pilatus Victor Hotel Alpha.
Pilatus is gonna drive me insane. Pilatus.
Bordeaux Center Pilatus Foxtrot. Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha is at 17,100 feet, climbing flight level 290.
You know what, we do have an auto throttle. Let's try that out.
Pilatus Foxtrot, Bravo Victor Hotel
I didn't realize we had that.
Continue to Lima Mike Bravo as planned.
Yeah, now we're climbing a lot faster. Alright, so we are over flight level 180, so we're going to standard pressure now. I'm gonna see if I can pull up that message over there. See if that's a possibility. Let's zoom in there. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Looks like we have to set this to standard as well. Looks like you have to do it manually. Okay. Yeah, I really just cannot find where to pull up this message, so we'll see. Yeah, now we're actually getting up to our altitude since I hit auto throttle. I really did not know we had that. Oops. Just funny too, because I looked at this autopilot panel before I even started the plane just to see, and somehow completely skipped over that. It's alright though. It's all part of the learning process. My big thing is seeing how this aircraft lands, so if it doesn't land very well, I don't know how often I'm going to want to use it. If a mission requires it, see if I want to skip it or not. Now, since we have an EFB, actually, curious to see if this charts button works. It does not. Okay, so since we have an EFB, I almost wonder if we can get charts. What's this? Oh yeah, look at that. So we have charts. Let's see what shows up if we look here. Okay, yeah, so we do have Lido charts. That's really interesting. So it's got a very similar setup to the FAA charts, except there's nothing up top here. Gives us ATIS, which is cool. Gives us tower. Okay, so some of the information you would find on the top of an FAA chart is up here, just within the map. You have a course of 041. Okay. That's cool. I'm just trying to see what else we can pick out of here. The missed approach is drawn in blue. At D1.4, what is DME 1.4 DME, I assume? You would okay, you would track 140 and climb to 3000. And then the question is which one do you hold at? Which one is the secondary approach? Or I'm sorry, the secondary mist. Okay, so it does look like we have minimums down here as per usual. Okay, yeah, so if we have... The question is, which one do we use? Okay, so we have a 3-degree glide path here, and I imagine that's what this is trying to get at right here, this, Can we zoom in? No, we can't zoom in, we can just... Oh, wait, yeah, we can. Just have to click it. Oh, 3%, 3%. Question is, what does GA stand for? Definitely gonna have to do a little bit of research to find out what exactly all of this stuff means. Oh, this is giving you a descent rate? So then what are the what are the minimums? That's what I want to know. Huh. Are these the minimums right here? This is weird. Never seen this before. So this is your missed approach point, but there's nothing that says DA or DH on it, which would be your decision altitude or your decision height. Very interesting. Yeah. This is going to take some research to figure out. Alright. Cool. Alright, well, we are at cruise. We're going to verify that all of our lights are set up properly. We have beacon, nav, strobe, wings can stay off, landing lights are off, fuel pumps and all that are on. That's looking good. Okay. Ooh. A little bit of a frame drop. Does not appear to me that we really need to do anything anymore. Oh, what's this? Oh. That's interesting. Can I fix the range? It doesn't look like I can touch the reins there. The range. Weird. I just kind of want to zoom in and out here, but I don't know how. Well. Alright, well, we'll stick around and cruise for a while, and, see what we can get ourselves into. Alright, so we'll see what this thing looks like from the outside. I think that looks very, very good. I really do enjoy the graphics in this game. I mean, those clouds are really nicely organized. Seems like the ground over here is a little less blue than I've seen in the past. I don't know if that's a rendering thing or if that's just the aerial map data turning it blue like out in the US. It looks pretty good. I like it. Well, let's turn that off. Whoa,
We've
why?
left the landing gear down. It seems we missed that step.
What? Why did the landing gear just drop? Dang it. Okay, so these controls are... Right, because this is a new plane and I have to reset the... Oh man. I really hope it doesn't dock me for that. It probably will, but... So keyboard 2020 planes, alright. I forget you have to set up new controls for every aircraft you fly. That was extremely unfortunate. Because what I did was I set the forward slant button to get rid of the visual aids, but that's with the Flight Sim 2020 controls. But with a new plane, it reverted back to 2024, and so forward slant is to drop and retract the gears, so... Yeah, that was a mistake. Oh well. So now I'm curious to see if, now that we have an arrival in our flight plan, curious to see if the ATC will descend you on time. Kind of looks like we're going pretty slow. I mean, I know that the indicated airspeed as far as knots drops, but 0.33 on the Mach speed, that seems kind of low. I guess it usually tops out at Mach 0.4. So I kind of want to see if I can't push it just a little bit. Let's try Mach 0.36. Okay, so the mission steps doesn't think we're at flight level 290 yet, but you know that you're at flight level 290 because the ATC hasn't yelled at you. So I wonder if that's just a bug? Kind of wants us way up here as far as the boxes are concerned. But see, if you go 400 above your assigned altitude, we'll just stay here. That's one thing that really bothers me about the career mode. Well, it's just this game in general, but career mode specifically is that the in-game ATC doesn't seem to cooperate with your mission steps all that well. Because like I said, we're at 29,000 feet, and that's where the mission steps want us to go, but it clearly doesn't think we're there because that didn't go green. But ATC hasn't yelled at us, so we're exactly where they want us. So if you don't follow the mission steps, you get docked. If you don't listen to ATC, you also get docked. I don't know anymore. I'm hoping that runway crossing thing is the only true problem we have with this. So we can still get an S tier. Usually if you only get docked on one thing, as long as it's not like an aircraft crash or whatever it might be, you can still get an S tier. But that's only if there's one, you know, relatively minor issue. We'll have to find out. Okay, so we'll pull up our EFB again. Go to our flight plan. I'm just curious to see just how long we have left. Looks like we do have quite a distance. I will say though, that's definitely not looking like a 3.5 hour flight.
Pilatus Victor Hotel Alpha Contact Bordeaux Center on 121.25. Good day.
121.25 Pilatus Victor Hotel Alpha. Bordeaux Center Pilatus Foxtrot. Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha Flight Level 290.
Pilatus Foxtrot. Bravo Victor Hotel Alpha Bordeaux Center. Continue to Golf Alpha India as planned.
The good news is we do have a tailwind assisting us. It's almost 60 knots, so that'll take a nice good chunk out of the flight time. I love the Pilatus, don't get me wrong. It's a really great airplane, and it can take a lot. It can take quite a beating. It can even do soft field landings and all that, but as far as the career mode, I don't know how operational it is. I don't know how broken it is, if it is broken at all. And I don't really know how to fly it. I haven't touched one of these before on any flight sim, so yeah. I guess I'm just afraid to try it, but we seem to be on a good track here.
center on 125.6. Good day. Going to 125.6 Pilatus Victor Hotel Alpha.
What on earth just happened? Okay, we're gonna pause this real quick and I'm gonna go back and see what exactly that was. Okay, I'm just going back on this and trying to see what exactly happened here. Back on track. Wow, yeah, we're gonna abort this mission. Interesting. I wonder if that's a bug of some sort. It has to be. That was very strange. I really, guess I looked away at the wrong time. Hmm. Well, that was incredibly strange. As far as I looked, we were on track. We never went off course. I was following in nav mode, and then all of a sudden, it disappeared. Alright, well... Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't entirely know what just happened here. That's probably gonna have to be something that I go back and watch for myself. Because that was incredibly confusing, actually. Because what it looks like is that it thought I was, like, so incredibly off course it needed to just crash everything. Weird. Alright, so I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ditch the VIP charters until a new update comes out, and I guess we'll just have to go with a different VIP mission. Look for a Vision Jet or something. That was really unfortunate, to be honest with you. was really hoping to unlock some VIP charters and go on, but I'll have to look up to see if there was just something I screwed up that I wasn't aware about, or what that was. Let's see if we can pick up a VIP mission in the Vision Jet. Wow, that was really, really odd. So we got a bunch of VIPs in the Skyhawk, but I was kind of hoping to, with the VIP missions, open up more map. And you can do that, but seems like it's only giving me Bonanzas and Skyhawks for the most part. You know what, this one should open a good chunk of map over here. Why don't we roll with that? Wow. I guess so much for bug workarounds. That's... it's kind of saddening, to be honest. VIP relative of a celebrity. Okay. Alright. Weird. Where does this think we are? Alright, so we'll just go ahead and change this to a direct change procedure. Let's see if we do have an approach. It doesn't look like we do have an approach at all. So just do another direct, why not? And just for the purpose of timing, if we have to do right traffic, we'll do right traffic. Yeah. Alright, so we got our route. It looks complete. We ever take off. No departure procedure, no arrival procedure. Go ahead and file the plan with ATC. Send the route to our avionics. And the cruise altitude is just fine. We'll accept the mission. And we'll wait for this to load. Man, so I was thinking that maybe I could just go into another mission, but I clearly think I have to restart the game again and then try and reload this mission. So we're gonna do that. Just bear with me. I do apologize for the issues that we seem to be having this stream, but that's kind of it's kind of how it goes. VIP charters are definitely a no-go. I will not be attempting that again until after the update that's coming this week. Supposedly there's going to be some pretty significant bug fixes with it. So bear with me as I restart the sim, and we'll get a VIP going. Alright, so after that complete waste of a VIP charter attempt, we're gonna get a decent flight going here. I'm almost wondering if I used the EFB before the flight started to file the flight plan and everything, and I almost wonder if somehow I glitched it out by doing that, or if the, parameters of the flight course are broken, or what the deal was. I don't know, but it was a waste of a flight. It was really unfortunate. Looks like we won't be unlocking VIP charters, at least until after the update, but we'll make up for it by getting an S-tier VisionJet private charter. So let's go ahead and fly. I will say that Pilatus was pretty finicky. The functionality of it was pretty good. Everything, as far as I was concerned, worked as it should, besides not being able to go back to the flight plan page on the MFD, and obviously the course that it took. But we stomached through it and wound up being an absolute failure, but that's okay. We'll try and check it out again after the update comes out. Try and get that flight done on my own time. Alright, so before we begin this flight, I just want to verify that my control settings are on the Microsoft 2020 the way I set them. Yep, keyboard 2020 planes. Okay, cool. So they're how I left them last time. I like seeing that. Alright, let's go ahead and request boarding of our passengers.
So we've started boarding, Captain, so feel free to step aboard.
Have a good flight.
Everyone's talking over each other. I'll be right back. Running into things.
So welcome aboard.
Hi, Captain. They mentioned at the gate that the network would be available throughout the flight. I need it for some important calls, Captain. So please make sure not to cut off my connection without notifying me.
Alright. Cool. Alright, let's get this party rolling. Batteries 1 and 2 are coming on. Generators 1 and 2 are coming on. Strobes also on. Get rid of the yoke. Engine knob to run. Go ahead and start the engine. Oh, we actually have engine noise this time.
Good evening, Cap.
Ran a Vision
Today
Jet
you've
flight
got the
earlier and I
pleasure
didn't
of
get
taking
any
Mr.
engine
Hart to
noises.
Wharton.
That was weird.
He's close to one of our top clients who booked the flight for him. Provide him with the finest service on behalf of our company. I know I can count on you. Have a great flight.
Alright, so the oil pressure's up, ITT's up, everything's in the green. We are looking wondrous there. We'll go ahead and turn on the master air, fresh air, bleed. Probe heats are going on. We are at 11 degrees Celsius, so engine anti-ice can actually stay off this time. Fob sync the fuel, confirm, next, weight and balance, next. Let's go ahead and get rid of this discontinuity. Next. Initialize, and we'll accept it. Cool. And then we'll put everything on the page I like to put it on. Aircraft systems, engine and fuel. Back. This page is going to map. And then this page is going to weather. Just the way I like it. Alright. Nav1 and Nav2 for our bearings. Go ahead and select our altitude, which we filed for 200. Cool. 200. Flaps are going down to 50. Pitch trim. Oh, that. I left my throttle in the takeoff position. Almost in the takeoff position from the previous flight. That could have been really bad. Alright. Speed modes in the FMC. 20,000 feet. Autopilot set up. And, I'm not really worried about the altimeter right now, to be quite honest with you. Alright, parking brakes coming off. Brakes are set. And we'll announce our taxi. Landing light can come on.
17 traffic November 586906 is taxiing to runway 26.
Just checking where I'm going. Yeah, the reason I aborted that last mission was just because I actually have an S tier pilot reputation now, and I just don't want to do anything to destroy that. I don't really know what happened. I'll have to go back and investigate, see if it's something I did or if it is just something the game did itself. It's just kind of one of those weird things. But it's a brand new game, using cloud data, brand new concepts, things that this game hasn't really seen before. Alright, so flaps are in takeoff, pitch trim's good, landing lights on, okay. Just verify everything, and then we'll heading sync before takeoff. Alright, let's go ahead and announce our departure. We are more east than we are south, so I'll just call it an east departure.
India 17 traffic November 586906, taking off runway 26 departure to the east.
Inform the passengers.
Sir, good evening, and welcome aboard this first-class wings flight to Warden. I'm your captain
Excuse
and
me.
pilot today. Estimated flight time is 43 minutes. We're on time for departure, waiting for takeoff clearance. I'll keep you informed during the flight if anything important comes up. Thank you. Sir, welcome on board this flight to Warden. I'm here to ensure you have an enjoyable journey today. If there is anything I can do to make your flight more comfortable, please let me know. Please fasten your seatbelt, and remember this is a non-smoking flight. You'll find a safety briefing card in the seat pocket in front of you. Prepare for takeoff. Thank you.
Get a nice U-turn going. Get on runway heading, which is right about there. That didn't work. There we go. And we'll begin takeoff power. Slight crosswind coming in from the left side, so we're just going to hold a little tad bit of left hammer on. Airspeed is alive, engine gauges are green, we're looking good there. Go ahead and move this bad boy up. Nice and smooth. Alright, out of usable runway, gears coming up. Decrease pitch just a 115, flaps are coming up.
approach. Squawk 7501.
Auto throttle's going on.
Squawk 7501696.
Okay, we're squawking. Altitude
696
reporting.
Radar contact 1 miles west of India 17, 2,100 feet. Altimeter 29.902.
Alright, we'll go direct the Yellowbud VOR. Activate direct 2 and throw on nav mode. Okay, now we're turning direct our waypoint. We'll acknowledge the radar contact, even though you don't generally do that, but we'll get our IFR clearance.
Approach November 5, 86906, 2 miles west of India 17, request IFR to Papa Alpha 88, ready to copy.
November 5, 86906 is cleared to Papa Alpha 88. Airport is filed. Squawk 7501.
Alright, we're going east. We want 1,000 feet. I don't know why I was thinking the opposite one.
November 5, 86906, cleared to Papa Alpha 88 Airport as filed. Squawk 7501.
Which we are squawking.
6906 read back correct. Radar contact 4,600 feet. Altimeter 29.902, turn left heading 120, proceed on course climb, and maintain flight level 210.
Turn left heading 120, resume, own navigation climb, and maintain flight level 210696.
6906 contact Indianapolis Center on 135.125. Good day.
135.125 for 6906.
And I'm gonna blow my nose.
Indianapolis Center, November 5, 86906, is passing 6,100 feet, climbing flight level 210. November 5, 86906, Indianapolis Center, altimeter 29.902, continue to X-ray Uniform Bravo as planned.
Alright. Alright, climb the flight level 210. Alright, outside air temperature is starting to fall below freezing. Engine anti-ice is coming on. Alright, 10,000 feet, landing lights coming off. despite the absolute nightmare that VIP charter was, the PC-12 was fun to fly. Definitely got to learn it a lot more. But it's a pretty neat plane. I like it.
Contact Indianapolis Center on 120.475. Good day. 120.475 for 696.
Part of me wonders too if, because the mission steps didn't think I reached my cruise altitude, and I was sitting under it for too long, maybe that's what they were, why it restarted, but I don't know.
586-906 Indianapolis Center altimeter, 29.94 continue to X-ray uniform Bravo as planned.
I really hate that this doesn't just stay at the bottom when a transmission comes in. Wish they would fix that. One thing that I did get on the last Vision Jet flight that I did, that I have not gotten yet in the previous 9, was a cruise announcement to the passenger. Haven't gotten that yet, so it was interesting, but also my previous 9 flights haven't gone above flight level 180, so I almost wonder if it's something that only happens in the flight levels. This is a very peculiar simulator, and there's definitely a lot to find out about it and work out. This is that kind of blue tint that I was talking about on the previous flight. I really wonder if it's just a rendering thing, or if that's what their attempt at, you know, doing the improved lighting, changing the ray tracing. Alright, that's 18,000 feet. Altimeter's going to standard barrel. Excuse me. Today is a struggle. interesting thing that I did notice is that when you get into the flight levels above flight level 180, usually it's about 19,000 for whatever reason, but when you get in the flight levels, the cancel IFR option disappears, and for those who don't know airspace all that well, that is because Class Alpha goes from flight level 180 to flight level 600, and to be in Alpha airspace, you have to have an IFR flight plan. So there is no canceling that flight plan when you're in the flight levels because you need an IFR plan to be there. So just a little interesting thing I noticed. I like that a lot. It's pretty cool. Really brought some accuracy to the game. Another level of it. Alright, so outside air temperature is really only staying around -20, so I'm going to keep the engine anti-ice on. But we don't need any wing de-icing or windshield. It looks like the windshield is staying pretty clean. 500 to go. Oh, there it is. Inform passengers of cruise status. Only the second time I ever got that. Must be a flight level thing.
Sir, glad to be your captain today. First, I'd like to welcome you on behalf of First Class Wings on flight FCW 2813. We are currently cruising at an altitude of
now we're in cruise.
19,900 feet
So
at an
we
airspeed
will-
of 150 knots. It's 12:41 p.m. and are expecting to land in Morton approximately at 2:10 a.m. local time. Current temperature of 48 degrees Fahrenheit. If
Now
the
we
weather
just hang out.
cooperates, we should get a great view of the area as we descend. I'll update you before we reach our destination. Until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight.
Alright, so one thing that we can do right now is, since we don't have an approach or anything like that, you can see we don't have a VNAV profile. Nothing is in the VNAV information, so we'll add some altitudes to go ahead and basically craft our own VNAV profile so we can have a nice smooth descent to our arrival airport. So, go to sky vector, and we'll put in the airport identifier, Papa Alpha 88, right down here. So the airport elevation at this airport is 1995, and funny enough, this is actually a private airstrip, so we have a prior permission to land here in this particular scenario of this flight. So since it's 1995, we're going to round up to 2,000 pattern altitude. We'll have 1,000 above. So when we're at this runway 23 point right here, I'm going to go ahead and put that at 3,000 feet MSL, because that's where we want to be. And we'll enter that. And now we should go to VNAV, and we will have a descent profile, and our top of descent is coming in 12 minutes, a little bit sooner than I thought it would. So what we'll do is we'll request a cruising altitude decrease, and we'll request it by 4,000 feet to give us 17,000.
Request 17,000 feet.
696 descend and maintain 17,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 17,000 feet. 696.
And what I'm doing here is I'm descending below the flight levels so we can cancel our IFR, and by doing that we prevent the in-game ATC from being able to descend us wildly late, if at all, and we can continue VFR to our destination and descend when we're supposed to descend. That way we can then make a nice smooth landing at the airport. Because boy, does the in-game ATC not like to descend you at all. In real life, there seems to be a severe turbulence report at flight level 390 of Gulfstream 5. G5, no damages or injuries, if I can speak. That's good. So the weather in real life is not doing too hot in this particular area. There's a severe turbulence SIGMET over the east coast due to wind shear associated with the jet stream. Alright, so now we can cancel our IFR, so we'll go ahead and do that.
Indianapolis Center 696. Cancel IFR at this time.
696 IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200.
Kill Squawk VFR, enter.
Frequency change approved. Good day.
Alright, cool. Alright, so since we did set up a top of descent while I was still at flight level 210, now that I'm at 17,000, I do just want to change some specs real quick, make sure that the top of descent is calculated based off of the altitude that we're at now. So we'll do Mach 0.45 is a little bit much. Why don't we do 0.42? Seems good. Nope, not 8. 0. There we go. Mach 0.42. We have a 3-degree descent angle. Okay, that's looking good. Terminal area speed limit. I'm going to reduce that to 180. And that's going to be... we'll change that to 4,000. Give ourselves... You know what? No, 5,000 was fine. That's 2,000 feet to slow down to 180, so I like that. 15 nautical miles is fine with me. So we defined our own VNAV profile just to make it more doable. 245 knots at Mach 0.5 is kind of fast as far as the descent's concerned. Now that we changed that, we won't have to try and slow down the aircraft at a very rapid rate, so we can respect the aircraft condition a little bit and also make the ride as smooth as possible for our passengers. And then 180 at 5,000 feet within 15 nautical miles of the airport. That way we can slow down and find this airport, because since this is a private strip, I already tell that this is going to be a very difficult airport to find visually. So now that we're less than 10 miles from our top of descent, we'll throw VNAV mode on, take altitude hold off. It's going to slow down to Mach 0.42. Reduce the zoom on the MFD.
Vertical track.
And our vertical track is coming in, so VNAV is working properly. Since we're below 18,000, we'll try and set the altimeter, so 29990. I normally don't like to use the hotkey for air traffic control as far as making radio calls, but we're just going to use it. I don't want to sit and try and locate this airport on the nearest airport list. So we'll use the hotkey to get into the correct frequency, make our 10-mile call, and then we'll go back to using the ATC window as far as making our traffic pattern calls. Up, and you know what I did? I forgot to lower the altitude once again. Oops. So we'll lower that down, turn off VNAV, and throw it back on, and now the aircraft should start descending. Theoretically. So VNAV is enabled. Let's try and set it up again. Okay. I guess we'll go into vertical speed mode for now. Set it for the 1900 feet per minute that it wants. Let's throw VNAV mode in there again and see if that does anything for us. And we'll see if when this needle centers, if it does capture the descent profile. If it does not, I guess we'll just have to go manual on the vertical speed, which is fine. That's what I get for forgetting to set my altitude once again. I always do that with VNav. It's kind of embarrassing how much I do that when I use VNav mode. Oh well. I will reduce the range on our map again real quick. Worst comes to worst, we'll just disengage the autopilot early and just hand fly this baby in. Just really hoping I can actually find this airport. It's funny because a lot of these really small fields are difficult to locate in real life, and not really much easier in the sim. Even with all the GPS and everything, you still sometimes just can't really get that visual that you're looking for. Yeah, I don't really know if that vertical track is ever going to come back in. We've been descending a while. Oh well. Excuse me. Definitely getting some of that turbulence that everyone's been complaining about. Reduce the map to 15 nautical miles. While that's going, I'm going to quick blow my nose. Since we're coming up on 10,000 feet, I'll turn the landing light on. This is brutal. This sickness that's going on. Alright, so I'm not really liking what this is doing, so autopilot's going to come off. We're going to walk some throttle out of there so we can slow down, increase our descent rate, and see if that vertical, that VNav angle comes in. Okay, now it's starting to come in. But we're not going to descend all too much more aggressively. Don't want to get into a vertical speed rate that we can't come out of. Turbulence is going to get really rough over these hills. 10 miles out, so we'll make our call.
Papa Alpha 88, traffic November 586, 90610 miles, west 6,200 feet inbound to land runway 2 tree.
Now we're within 10 miles, so we're going to reduce to 180 on the speed. And that speed's going to go down very quickly. Trying to use the trim to help me out here. Getting a little bit below the VNAV angle. Yep, a little bit of turbulence here. Alright, our speed is starting to drop off. We're going to keep on slowing down because we're getting pretty close already. And we're just going to do a right-hand traffic pattern because we can. You really should enter more of a downwind than a base just because we are kind of almost going the opposite direction, so I will enter a right base. Or, I'm sorry, not a base, a downwind. Downwind light, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Alright, we'll slow down even more. We're above freezing on the outside air temperature, so engine anti-ice can come off. I do think I have a visual of the field. Though this turbulence is something else. A lot of bumping the plane around. We're about 150 knots, gears coming down. Okay, yep, I do believe I have the runway in sight. So we'll go ahead and turn downwind and make the announcement.
Papa Alpha 88, traffic November 586,
First notch flaps are coming in.
is on downwind runway 2 tree.
We'll go out just a little bit so when we make our other turns, our base and then final, we can actually see the runway from where we are.
Vertical track. Vertical track.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Much appreciated G3000 version of Siri. Give ourselves a little bit of distance so we can, when we turn base, we can actually locate the runway. Alright, I feel like that's plenty of distance. Let's go ahead and turn base. And we'll make the announcement.
Papa Alpha 88, traffic November 586, 906, is on base runway 2 tree.
I feel like we're getting kind of low here, so we'll try and avoid that. Now they're definitely low. We overshot the runway, of course. Very difficult to find over here. I do believe I have it in sight right over here, though. So at the very least, we have it in sight. We'll go full flaps and we'll announce final.
Papa Alpha 88, traffic November 586, 906, is on final runway 2 tree to land.
I promise I can do much, much better traffic patterns in real life. Alright, I do have the runway in sight. Sweet. Alright, we all are full flaps. We're maintaining about 90 knots.
500.
This looks like a little bit of a sloped runway. We got an uphill working, which will be nice for us as far as stopping distance. Keep that crosswind correction angle in. It's coming from the right side. It is getting bumpy. Airspeed is kind of all over the place. It's going up and down. Definitely got a bit of gustiness going on here. Alright, runway's made. Power's going to idle. We'll bleed off that airspeed, make a nice smooth touchdown. Theoretically. Oh man, that was a slammer. The landing smoothness is not that. Oof. Oh, brother. Well, at the very least, we'll respect the condition of the aircraft by not destroying the brakes. And we'll stop right here. Flaps are coming up. We'll announce taxi to parking.
Papa Alpha
Bleeds and
88,
pitot heat's
traffic
coming
November
off.
58696 is taxiing to parking.
And we'll inform the passengers.
Sir, welcome to Namacolin. Local time is 1:22 p.m. For your safety, the captain has requested that you remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until we come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Please make sure you take all your belongings with you when you get off. On behalf of the entire company, we would like to thank you.
We're going downhill,
for
so
choosing
we're not going to
first-class
keep a
wings.
lot of
We look
power
forward to
in.
seeing you again and wish you a pleasant stay.
Gravity will help speed us up. Doing a very good job at speeding us up. Yeah, that landing wasn't the prettiest thing ever. That turbulence, though, is extremely aggressive. And you can get wind like that when you're coming into a runway on final, but you definitely need a little bit more wind to do it. Low winds, even with the terrain, aren't going to mess you up that bad. You might hit some thermals or something like that, but we're looking at 8 degrees Celsius, which is pretty low, pretty cold, not a lot of heat radiating off of the ground. So the winds do need a little bit of correction and tweaking as far as this
That
game is
was a
concerned.
smooth ride. Thanks for the safe travel, Captain. I will recommend your company.
Huh, even with that slammer of a landing, I appreciate that, thank you. Alright, landing lights coming off. We'll go ahead and set the parking brake. That's being set. The engine knob can go to off. Stop engine. And then strobes are coming off. And once this hits 1%, mission success. Alright, let's see how we did. Okay. Alright, so 91% on passenger satisfaction. The landing slammer didn't really have that much of an effect on the condition of the aircraft, so that's actually really nice to see. We got 100% and everything went perfectly during the flight. Airline procedures, all the radio calls were good, so canceling the IFR is a really good move. It doesn't mess with your airline procedures at all, so that's really nice to see. Because you can do that in real life if you're VFR, so I don't see why that would dock you. I mean, if you were in an airline, like a scheduled airline, you would have to remain IFR because that's kind of the standard with Part 121. But this is a private charter. If anything, it's Part 135, and if you can go VFR, I'm pretty sure Part 135 you're allowed to do so. But we got an S tier on the rating. That is absolutely glorious to see. Go ahead and hit next. See how many credits it made us. 15,000. All right. Bad weather bonus 4,000, probably for the really aggressive winds on final. So that's good. Right. Huh. Our rating went up a little bit too. Yep. I got the S tier on the pilot rating earlier tonight. So that was a relief to see. We get a 20% bonus for each mission too. So that's awesome. I really like seeing that as well. Yeah. So how many levels? 2 levels. Level 64. Nice. Alright, so yeah, a little bit of a debrief on that one. Everything went well except for the VNAV situation. We did craft our own VNAV profile, and typically that works, but I forgot to turn down the altitude setting on the autopilot before I put VNAV mode on, which led to the aircraft not descending, and then when I tried to fix it, put it back into VNAV, that didn't work, so we had to go into vertical speed mode, that's just fine. It's not like anything's wrong with the flight, just a little more aggressive of a descent than I would have wanted. And then the traffic pattern was really botched, but it's really difficult to in a flight simulator you can't move your head unless you got the track IR or if you're on a VR headset, so it's kind of hard to look around while you're doing a traffic pattern. So we overshot final by quite a bit, but I was able to find the airport a lot quicker than a lot of the other airports that I've flown into for these missions. So we found the runway nice and early. We managed to get ourselves back onto final. The turbulence was really aggressive, and the plane was getting bumped around, but I feel like that was pretty well handled. The landing was quite firm, but apparently not so much of a slammer that it degraded the condition of the aircraft, so that's also really good to see. So, but other than that, yeah, it was a very smooth flight. Yeah, our attempt at unlocking charter VIPs was a disaster, so we wound up having some sort of issue. It thought we were off course despite being on the track, as far as I saw it anyway. Again, I wonder if it's because I messed with the EFB before the flight, or if I don't know, the mission steps was also not indicating that I was at the cruise altitude, but I was, because ATC wasn't yelling at me, and maybe it just I was not at cruise altitude for too long, and it determined that I was off course, so to speak. So we'll wait until the update, and I'll probably wind up unlocking VIP charters by myself, and so you guys don't have to sit through that again. And yeah, we'll see what's in store for next time. We'll try and keep up with the career mode. Pilot reputation's doing really good. The level's doing really well. And then I'm just waiting to start a company in career mode until I get like all of the ratings and see all of the things that are available to, you know, start a company that does what I want it to do, the type of flying that I prefer more. So the more options we open up, the more suitable for my type of flying we can make the company. So that's all I got for today. And the first flight wasn't so good, but we made up for it with a really nice private charter flight that gave us an S tier and increased our S tier reputation level. So yeah, probably won't be able to stream again until after the update, so hopefully the update fixes a lot of stuff, and we'll continue from there. Y'all have a good night, and take care. Hopefully I feel better by next time. See ya!